We often don't realize that we are the key to our own happiness, and that happiness starts with healing and transformation. Whether you need healing, guidance, clarity, understanding, or just some honest sister talk to feel connected, heard, and supported, you are welcome and safe here. So join the conversation and be healed. Welcome to Soul Healing Conversations with your host, Roz Kincaid.
What's up, y'all? What's up? It's your girl, Roz, and welcome to another episode of Soul Healing Conversations. I really hope you guys are doing well today and just making the best of things. Lots going on, a lot of shifting, a lot of changing going on right now. Still, there's a lot being revealed and a lot being uncovered. And based on my conversation with Wanika Dunn, who's an astrologer, there is much, much more to come of this shift and change. And you know, you got to be aware. You got to be ready for it, y'all. And if y'all not sure what I'm talking about, then go to my website. Not to my website, but go to Facebook, to my Facebook page, and check out the live, actually the replay of the live video with Wanika. If you also missed last week's episode, do check that out, and you will know exactly what I'm talking about because the planets are talking. They're always talking. So, real quick, I want to give a shout out to my international listeners in China, Mexico, New Zealand, Ireland, Russia. Got some people in Saudi Arabia listening, as well as the Netherlands and France. Last I checked, this show is about 200 away from 10,000 listeners, you guys. Let's keep it going. Keep listening. Keep sharing these episodes. I love the support. I love that you guys are listening from all over the country. So one more thing before we move on. If you are a business owner and you want to get your business or an event that you're doing in front of these almost 10,000 listeners, then I have some advertising space and some sponsorship opportunities available. Contact me at hello@rozkincaid.com or check out the media kit on my website at rozkincaid.com/soul-healing-conversations. I would love to partner with other businesses to help you guys expand your reach and grow your business because we're in this together. All right, y'all. I have another great conversation in store for you today. So ever since I got into energy healing and all of that and starting to explore spirituality, I have been very drawn to crystals to help me manage and heal my own personal energy as well as I use it in my work. Like many of you, crystals are not just rocks to me. And I know they're not just rocks to my guests. So to me, they're living beings. You know, they have power. They have the ability to protect and heal and do all kinds of good stuff. People use them to manifest all kinds of stuff. And that's part of what I'm going to be talking about today. So joining me in conversation is Crystal Ellis. Crystal is the owner of Birdwatcher Spiritual Stones in Alexandria, Virginia. Crystal is going to tell us much more about it, but Birdwatcher is an eco-chic jewelry line consisting of healing crystals and gemstones, and her stuff is absolutely gorgeous, and it does not stay in stock long at all. So let's get into it. So without any more delay, welcome to the show, Crystal. How you doing?
Hey, Roz, how are you? Thanks for having me. I am nervous now. 10,000 listeners. Congratulations.
Yes, I was surprised myself. I'm like, dang, 10,000 already. I got all these people listening, but really, girl, this is just me and you talking. It always seems like just me and the other person talking. It doesn't seem like everybody's listening until it actually you hear it on the internet yourself. But I love that you were willing and available to be a guest on my show. What y'all don't know is that me and Crystal actually met at an expo at not a psychic expo, but it was Illuminate. I think it was Illuminate Fairfax, maybe 2 years ago. Yeah.
Was it 2 years or was it just this year? COVID has me all confused.
No, girl, it was 2 years ago because I remember we were in Chantilly somewhere, but I remember looking across the room and y'all, mind you, when Crystal and I go to these expos and these fairs and stuff, there are not a lot of brown people out here doing this kind of stuff that we can see. Like, we're on the internet and all of that stuff, but it's just good to look across the room and see somebody that looks like you, that's, part of the community and in the fight with you. And I looked at Crystal and she looked at me, we locked eyes, and I was like, yes, I see you. So I had to make my way over to her table to meet her and see what she had to offer. I mean, there were tons of other stone retailers and all that. But it was something about Crystal that drew me to her, and she was always smiling and always happy to help people. And I was like, I'm gonna come back and see you because I got to go over here and work. So
when we friended each other, I saw that you had a radio show, and I was like, oh, I hope Roz invites me one day.
Of course, listen, it was already in the plan. It was already in plan, and I'm so glad. So let me ask you, first of all, how did you come up? The Be Birdwatcher, that is such a unique and such a cool name. How did you come up with the name Be Birdwatcher for your jewelry line?
So everyone who comes up who doesn't know the origins of the name believes it's like I'm a bird watcher. I am not. And it is my family nickname. So my family calls me Biddles Birdwatcher. And I've been Biddles for forever. And kind of never knew how got the name. My uncle is the distributor of our nicknames, and I have a cousin named Groundhog, so I'm so glad it wasn't Groundhog. But, so I'm Biddles Birdwatcher, and when I started the company, I asked him, it's like, where did you get that name from? And he says, episode of Beverly Hillbillies. And
Stop.
I almost died. I was like, I just LLC'd a company, and literally it is an episode. Many of you guys who've watched Beverly Hillbillies can remember Mr. Drysdale in his office, and his secretary comes in a bird watching outfit.
Stop.
And says, I am the official, something of the Biddles Bird Watchers Club. And that is how I got my nickname.
Wait a minute. Did he have a hat with a bird on top of it?
Yes.
Girl, yes. I remember.
And no one ever believes me until I show it to them. And I tell them all the time, it's my name. However, it comes from a sitcom.
Yo, way to parlay that into something else. You know what I'm saying? Look, listen, because I'm like, Be Birdwatcher. I'm like, does she watch birds? I thought the same thing. Like, she watching birds. Like,
yeah, everyone thinks like I'm into bird watching. I'm like, no. It's not. And most people know me as, if you receive an email from me, you'll see Biddles, but no one knew the full name. And that's kind of what I wanted to do, is just start something that was a little off, but kind of like still big part of me. And even some of my friends, when I started my company, they thought I was selling jewelry for someone else because they had never heard of Be Birdwatcher before. And I'm like, no, I make everything. I source everything.
Wow.
All me, I ship. I'm like a one-man show.
Girl, you better get that work. I love it. I love to see women. I love to see entrepreneurs out here hustling and getting it and putting good stuff out there. And I never knew. I didn't even think of Beverly Hillbillies, but I know exactly who you're talking about, though. You mean to walk in that office with that bird wagging on top of his head?
Yes.
Yes. Oh my God. What an interesting story. So tell me a little bit about, like, I don't know if were you in corporate America and then you kind of transitioned into doing your jewelry line? And then, like, how did you even get into crystals or any of that stuff? Or how did you land here with the jewelry line?
So it sort of blends both my corporate life and my spiritual life. It's I am still in my corporate job, which people are amazed because when they see me out on the weekends doing like yoga events or holistic events, like it's a whole setup. And people really think this is kind of all I do. But when, Monday comes around, I'm back in my little, suit.
At your cube, at your desk, in front of the laptop. Yeah.
Right.
I know.
So the journey started, probably in my late 20s. I was at events, and I'm in sales. And I was at an advanced selling course in Pasadena, California. And we were in a class, and we were at the Sheraton in Pasadena. I don't know if you have any California people out there, they probably know where that's at. And the Dalai Lama was actually staying at our hotel. What? Yeah. It's a weird story. So probably on the second day, one of the hotel staff, they came into our room and they were like, hey, if you guys want to meet the Dalai Lama, he's about to come in now. So we all were like, heck yeah. So we all got up, went out and stood in the lobby, and we all kind of formed like two lines. And I was standing, this is an odd story. I was standing next to Sharon Stone. I don't even know how I got up there. And he came in, he blessed her. Then he came to me and blessed me. And I was like, oh my God, my Baptist mother would have a fit. And I really, at that point, only knew a little bit about the Dalai Lama. And so I came back and bought as many books as I could on his teachings and really kind of got into Buddhism. And that has always sort of been there with me. My friends joke, they call me Bap Buddhist because I'm still Baptist. And just practicing, being more mindful and being more aware in the ways of Buddhism. So that was in the 20s story. So in my 30s, I ended up going to a Oprah kind of like Find Your Passion tour. I can't even remember the name of that tour now. But my friend dragged me there. I did not want to go. And I did not want to go. And I was like, I'll go with you just because I'm your friend. Okay. So it was the most like life-changing event just because they talked about not living in fear. The Eat, Pray, Love lady. I can't think of her name now.
I forgot her name too.
Yeah, but
I know you're talking about.
And Iyanla all talked about fear.
It's Iyanla.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm always like, I don't know about Iyanla. Oh my God, she was so good. So I quietly, and I wasn't really happy then. I was in a sales job that I really didn't like. I just didn't like my position in life, and I was like, this is me living in fear. I was like, I need to branch out and do things that make me happy. So quietly, as it was kept, I ended up, thinking about what I love. And I love fashion, but I love, the metaphysical aspects of like gemstones, and ended up trying to blend the two. And probably a month or so later, I went to like a gem show, and I've always seen the gemstones there. My girlfriend's like, don't buy it. Just buy a bracelet. Don't even worry about, you're not going to get into this. Just go to David Yurman or go wherever and get your jewelry. Yeah. So I did not go with them. And I went and bought a couple of strands of beads.
Well, God, thank God you didn't listen to the friend.
Did not listen. She would kill me if she heard this, but I think she knows the story now. But I ended up making a few bracelets that I was going to give for Christmas gifts. And of course, I spoiled everything. So I showed my girlfriends a month ahead of time. I was like, look what I'm doing. They're like, oh my God, it's so cute. And they really just pushed me to think about, actually selling them. But at that point, I was like, I was in a very giving. I was like, I'm going to just pay this forward. I'm going to make jewelry. If somebody comments, I'm going to give it to them. And then around the holiday season, someone was like, oh, no, I want to buy something. I'm like, no, I don't sell. And ended up selling two. And that's kind of how the Birdwatcher.com started. And it's just been growing and growing ever since. So I launched on January 1st, 2016. And was it 16? And 15. It was 2015. I'm celebrating.
Wow, you've been going for what?
Yeah, it's been a blessing just because
for a while.
Years have flown by, and literally I pulled together a site. I did a little photo shoot, put gemstones on a website, and pushed, launch on January 1st, and just sat there and like 2 hours, nothing. And I was like, okay. So I took a little nap and woke up, and I really probably had 10 orders. It was amazing. And I just keep thinking, like, when is this going to end? I'm like, no, this is it. This is the whole, coming to fruition, the whole not living in fear and doing something that you love to do.
Y'all hear that? Do y'all hear the woman not living in fear, stepping out there and listen? I'm talking to me too. Present company included, not being afraid to step out there, not listening, no disrespect to the friend, but not listening to the people that, say, no, don't do it. Ain't gonna, y'all don't listen to that. If there's something you want to do, just do it. Just do the damn thing.
Yeah. And
because look at what can happen.
Right. Because every time I even feel a little bit of self-doubt, I always say the universe kicks me in my butt. Like it won't let me. Every time I'm like, oh my God, did I buy too many gemstones? I just spent a mortgage payment on gemstones. And I'll come out and I'll have like a couple of sales. And I'm just like, no, the universe is telling you, you found your stride. And this is what you probably were put here to do.
Yes, indeed. I can attest to it. It's great stuff. Y'all have to go check her stuff out. You know what? I can identify, and I'm sure a lot of other people who are thinking of starting up some kind of business don't necessarily have to be in spiritualism or, healing work, whatever the case may be. I mean, just hearing your story, a lot of people can identify with it, especially now when people are pulling back their support of corporate companies and want to start to do stuff on their own. Like, now is the time, y'all. Now is the time to do it. I mean, y'all just heard Crystal. She followed her intuition. She followed her gut. And even when she didn't want to do it, she did it anyway. And even when Crystal, you didn't see immediate results, the results came. Because part of it, I believe, is, you believed in it. You held on to it. And now look.
Yeah, and I always say it's the best kind of tired. So if anyone is out there thinking about starting a business, it's a lot of like late nights, but it's the best late nights. It's like, you feel so accomplished. And then when you do get out and meet people like at expos, I love my clients. Like the one bad thing about COVID is that I can't give hugs. Like it is like a hug festival at my table or my tent. But, and that's just part of it. I just don't want to be like out here just stringing together some beads. I want meaning behind the gemstones. I want to interpret those meanings to my clients and have them, have the gemstone really be a part of their life,
Wow. Yeah. Meaning and purpose behind your work. That's key. That's important. That speaks to the quality of your work and the quality of your products too. I mean, so you talked about going to a gem show. Where else do you source your gems? Where have your travels taken you to find these holy rocks?
A couple of years into me making jewelry, I was planning a trip to Greece and with a stop in Italy. And when I got to Greece, were we in Greece? I want to say we might have been in Montenegro. I think we were in Montenegro. And we went to the Roman mosaics. And this is a place where from, I think like 500, I don't know if it's BC, but they had all the ruins and like a lot of jewelry was buried there. And so I was like, well, this would be interesting if I could find, little pieces to add to the jewelry from this trip. And that's kind of where it started. So from like now, I incorporate trips into my schedule where I can go to different places and source either. A lot of times I'm sourcing some gemstones, but a lot of times I'm meeting artisans who can do a lot of like coins, a lot of silver pieces for me. I have a great jeweler in South Africa. I hope she's listening. That I met while I was in Joburg, and we've actually formed a really great friendship. So a lot of times when I go to these places, I'll go to local markets and meet the artisans and, talk to them. I'm like, I do this in America.
I'm new over here.
I'm new here. Yeah. So it's a vibe once you get to like, meet other people, especially taking trips and going into gemstone stores and kind of meeting your people, whether it's in Italy or whether it's in Portugal. So I've been to Greece, Italy. South Africa was an awesome trip. I have funny stories from South Africa. Portugal. This year I was supposed to go to Barcelona and hopefully Costa Rica. Costa Rica apparently has awesome gemstones.
Really?
So, yes. It's like once you start talking to people, they'll tell you like where to go in the world for gemstones. They're like, go to Costa Rica. I'm like, okay. So, but I have my vendors who I buy from, and, they get a lot of stuff from like Brazil and Canada and Mexico. So and China. So I have enjoyed traveling the world, picking up gemstones. Sometimes, like I went to Portugal to support a friend of her business, and literally walked up onto a gemstone like store at 11 o'clock at night, where Portugal is very much so everything kind of shuts down at 7.
Oh, really? I didn't know. Girl, listen, I ain't know.
Yeah, so I'm looking into the glass. I'm like, are you open? Are you open? And the guy just rang me in, and it was like a match because I was able to create a whole kind of like a collection from Portugal with the like coins, antique coins I found at a marketplace, and some of the gemstones I found there. So
when you make your stuff, these are like for real, handmade, one of a kind, unique. You walk around with it. Very few people are going to have on what you have on, because Crystal she been out in these streets, y'all, getting these crystals
all the time. I just recently started doing like multiples of bracelets, because for probably 4 years, I only did one of a kind. Just because I wanted to make them special. And then I was getting like, I still like don't like making multiples of bracelets, because I'm like, oh, I'm ready to add a new charm, or I'm ready to do this. And it, and I'm super particular about my gemstones. And the one thing, when we are at like the holistic events, there are like every other table probably have some type of gemstone bracelet.
Right.
And, respect to them. I am really particular about how I want my aesthetic to look. And I want it to be a piece of jewelry.
Yeah. It's
crafty or with way too much stuff on it.
Right. You want the piece to stand out on its own without a bunch of added shit on it.
Extra, yeah. And I also am...
I'll say it for you.
I'm also particular about like my stones too. I don't blend a lot of stones. You don't see me putting a lot of different stones together. Even you can. There's nothing wrong with that. I just like to keep a kind of monochromatic feel to my stone. So you'll have all black onyx or all rose quartz or all chalcedony or all, yellow opal.
Well, I was going to ask, why is that? Do you feel like mixing the healing properties of the stones, they kind of conflict or are kind of productive to how people want to use it? What's your thought process behind wanting to keep everything pretty consistent and monochromatic and using just one particular stone for a piece?
Yeah, I actually started mixing the stones when I first started. So I had different names for the different bracelets when I mixed the ones. And then it was just an aesthetic of mine that I just wanted it, kind of monochromatic and just one stone. And it took like, even with the chakra bracelets that are super popular, I just started doing chakra bracelets because a client kind of begged for it. And I was like, well, I don't really do that,
But please, will you please?
And I have
mass production.
I actually like I like them a little bit better now.
Well, good. Well, I think that it resonates with a lot of people, and not that, chakras and, energy and all of that have been, look, that ain't new. Y'all know this stuff ain't new. It's not new, but I think that people are starting to come into more of an awareness of their energy and more, chakras and how to, keep all of that managed and keep high vibe and all of that stuff. And I think that it's attractive to people because I don't want to say it's basic, but it's a foundational.
Oh yeah, totally.
You know what I'm saying? It's somewhere easy for people to start, because if you can identify or connect with knowing what your chakras are, and then understanding, okay, what crystals can help balance and unblock all of those things, all of those 7 or 8 chakras. Well, there are many chakras, but what can I use to balance that kind of stuff? Because people, energy ain't new. It's popular, but it ain't new. And so I'm glad to hear that you're doing chakra bracelets. I mean, because sometimes what you get over the internet, just you get it and it's like, and I can just look at your stuff, Crystal, and be like, yeah, that's quality stuff. It's just not a piece of plastic.
Right.
No shade to nobody else, but I'm just saying there are some imposters out here.
I love everyone's bracelets because a lot of times when people buy a bracelet from me, they're like, "Oh, do you want me to take this one?" I'm like, "No, keep your bracelets on." And I have many friends who like. I always say this is not new and I never created it. I just have a certain aesthetic that I kind of like to stick with. Like for me, I always put a charm or something. And a lot of times people are like, "Oh, I don't want a charm." I'm like, "Look, this is my lane." But
you don't want my line then.
No, but it was very important for me to learn about the chakras, in the elements of meditation, Reiki, energy healing, all that, because a lot of times when people come, they're not just looking for like a bracelet. They're looking for something to change the energy that's happening with them, around them, draw in. And as your 7 chakras, energy flows clockwise and counterclockwise. Clockwise, the energy you are exuding out to the world. Counterclockwise is what you're pulling in. So a lot of times you really do have to read your stones right. And I always I love an empathic person to come in, because when they connect with the stone, it is like their body just kind of like goes into like a instant.
It wakes up.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see. And certain stones for me do that, because I never really thought I was empathic.
Right. Well, I was gonna ask, is that like that for you when you come across stones? You kind of like your body jump?
Certain stones now, and for me, discovering a lot of different stones. And if you look on my site, there's a ton of different types of stones. But for me, it was the Herkimer diamond, and I just posted it to my Instagram. If you look. I cannot wear that stone if I'm around other people.
Look on here right now.
I will have goosebumps all day long. I will feel everything they're feeling when they come in. And when you're doing a big event, that's just a lot. So I refuse to wear that around, but for events, I'll wear meteorite, because it really does ground you super well. Like I know a lot of people like shungite. I love meteorite just because it grounds me so well. So it just depends on the person. And I always say, my consultations, I call them at events, are truly that. It's a consultation. And we talk through what the person's going through, and then we find the right bracelet. I do not like people just to shop. Oh, I want a pink stone, or I want this. I'm like, let's talk.
Let's connect. Find out what it is you need and not what you want. That part. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's interesting. And I was going to get into it with you a little bit after the break about, kind of what stones are good for what situations and what conditions. And I'm glad you mentioned grounding and meteorite and the contrast between the meteorite and the Herkimer diamond, because Herkimer diamond is highly vibrational, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right? Super. And so, it's not always a good idea. Well, it's never a good idea to always be in a high vibration, but you got to ground yourself. And so when we come back after this break, we're going to talk a little bit about some of these crystals. I wish we could do a show and tell, but we're on the radio. So when we come back, we'll continue our conversation. So you guys stay tuned. We'll be right back.
You have a passion, and from that passion, you've created a business. But how do you market and grow that business? Hi, I'm Emily of Shine Coaching and Consulting. I specialize in brand identity, website design, marketing consulting, and business coaching. I create a visual expression of my clients' ideas and help them develop a business strategy to meet their goals. Connect with me today at shinecoachingandconsulting.com. Be inspired, be real, be you.
The Voice America Live Events channel is here now to showcase your corporate, individual, or organization's live event. Visit voiceamerica.com/live events to see all of our past live events and find out more. Whether it's a multi-day conference, special speaker, or single-day event, we've got everything to make your event a success. We can do a few hours or a few days. For more information about taking your event to the next level, call Jeff Spinard at 480-294 480-294-6417 or email info@voiceamerica.com. Again, that's Jeff Spinard at 480-294-6417 or send us an email to info@voiceamerica.com. Voice America is where you are and where you want to be. Join us around the globe as we broadcast live from some of the most interesting events available. Don't forget to view all our live events, including on-demand access to past events that you may have missed by visiting voiceamerica.com/live events.
We're making it easier to listen to the Voice America Talk Radio Network wherever you go. In addition to listening live, you can check out information about your favorite talk show hosts, discover new talk show personalities, add shows to your list of favorites, and listen to all of our show archives on demand, all from your iOS, Amazon Kindle, or Android device. Download it from the Apple App Store, Amazon, or Google Play, and get ready to tune in. The Voice America mobile app, powered by Aircast.
You are tuned in to Soul Healing Conversations. If you would like to reach Roz Kincaid or her guest today, please call into the program at 1-866-472-5788. That's 1-866-472-5788. You may also send an email to hello@rozkincaid.com. Now, back to Soul Healing Conversations.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You're listening to Soul Healing Conversations. I'm your host, Roz Kincaid. And if you'd like to work with me one-on-one, or if I can support you in any way, feel free to connect with me again at rozkincaid.com or at hello@rozkincaid.com. I am here with my guest, Crystal Ellis, owner of Birdwatcher Spiritual Stones. And we were talking about healing crystals and, Lord, all kinds of stuff, Beverly Hillbillies, chat, all kinds of stuff we in talking about. And so before the break, actually, before we get back into the conversation, Crystal, how can people connect with you after the show and let us know if you got any specials going on?
Yes, you can find me on Facebook, and it's at Birdwatcher Spiritual Stones. On Instagram at Birdwatcher, and it's BBIRDWATCHER. It's long, but Birdwatcher.com. At Birdwatcher on Instagram. Twitter is a little different. It's B_Birdwatcher.
Oh.
And I think that's it.
Oh, and your website.
My website. Hello.
You would want to know what that is.
The website, which is www.bbirdwatcher.com. And for your listeners, we have a discount code. It's SOUL10, SOUL 10. And you're going to get 10% off through the month of June. We have free shipping. So you get 10% off plus free shipping. And the code actually will last through August 1st. Well, until August. So August 1st.
Nice. Awesome. Perfect. I'm also going to post your information on my social media outlets too, so that people can grab up some of those beautiful pieces from you, or just connect with you to find out what you're doing, or, if you have another, because I know you do live videos too, to kind of show some of the pieces, some of the raw pieces, and just talk about some of their properties and stuff, which is extremely helpful for people who are just now getting into crystals. And, also, y'all, it ain't too early for to shop for Christmas gifts. And I know somebody's birthday is coming. I don't know who it is, but a nice bracelet from Birdwatcher would be perfect. It don't have to be big. But I
just had a client today. It was like, I'm in a new relationship, and what kind of bracelet? And he's this way. And I'm like, okay, let's talk. So
what'd you recommend?
Well, I told him no black onyx, because black onyx is good, but it separates you from bothersome relationships. Like, that's
really?
what you want when you're dealing with a new relationship.
You want to cultivate.
Yeah, it's good for like getting over stuff like grief and, kind of sadness. But it helps too. So it's pulling out all that negativity, and it's helping to foster a healthy self-ego. But you don't want to give that to someone. I suggested either like a tiger's eye or a buffalo horn. We ended up going with labradorite though. So yeah,
I love labradorite. I love it. It has that beautiful flash on it, and I love it.
And I got some really right before we went into quarantine, I got probably the prettiest labradorite I've ever gotten. And it was expensive, but it is gorgeous. You can see all of the little blue flicks.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
So you were talking about, before the break, you were talking about, you had mentioned Herkimer diamond and how, I don't want to use the word repulsive, but that's the word that's coming up. But it was like so highly vibrational that it was like, I can't be around other people wearing this.
It's called the attunement stone. So it just kind of attunes you to like your feelings, and just having that on around a lot of people affected me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think some people are able to wear it. I've met a couple of clients that have it, in a bracelet or in a necklace. And they can wear it all the time. I think because my piece is so large, it's a little hard for me to wear.
Yeah. And so with all of the angst and uproar and, all of what's going on with Black Lives Matter movement and, the, murder of, our people in our community and just, cop reform and the pandemic. I mean, it's a lot going on. What stones can you suggest for people to kind of bring it in, bring it down, have some calm, have some peace, and come back into your body and not be so affected by all of what's going on in society right now? What's good right now?
So it's kind of interesting. When we first started going into quarantine, I was getting a lot of requests for stones for anxiety. Mm-hmm. And, those stones, probably the most common one you guys have heard of before is amethyst. Mm-hmm. And amethyst is a good stress reliever. So for people who didn't have that in their collection, or if they had it in their collection, I was telling them to definitely like wear it full time at that point. There's some other really cool stones that I had at the beginning of quarantine. And of course, when I listed them as a great kind of stone for relieving tension or anxiety, they kind of flew off. So lepidolite, it actually is a really cool stone because it has a little lithium in the stone.
Yeah, I have some of that.
So I usually suggest that for people who are dealing with or have a little bit of ADHD or a little bit of anxiety. I usually suggest it for that. But of course, during this time, everyone had a increased anxiety. So that really went quickly. And also blue lace agate is it's called the comfort stone. And it's a very light pale blue. It's a very comforting gemstone.
Yeah, agates. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm no expert. I'm still learning all of this stuff too, as I go along. But I believe aren't agates in general, they're pretty they're not that intense of stones. Those are the stones that have like the white banding in them. They come in all different.
Yes, agates are a huge class, almost as large as quartz, and if not larger. But they're people don't think of them as being a protective stone, but it is definitely a stone I think everyone should have in their collection. Some piece, either Laguna agate or a moss agate. Actually, moss agate is the strongest of the agates.
Oh, really?
Technically not really known as a high vibration stone, but moss agate, if you find a piece of it, has probably the highest vibration of all of the agates. But it definitely is a protective stone. So it helps with I always tell people, if you have anyone that has energy drains or tends to kind of burn out, either an agate or a jasper. And
listen, I wish you could see me right now because I got my hand waving in the air like you just don't care, because I'm like, yeah, that's me. I need to pull out my agate.
And the agates don't really change your emotions. They just help with your level of acceptance of the emotion. So it's considered powerful because it gives us a lot of strength, but it gives us that strength to kind of carry on, to help so you won't have those energy drains. You won't stress out so much.
Yeah, I know a lot of us haven't gone back into the office, and a lot of companies, including the federal government, are slowly starting to enter into phase one. And just being at home, I can understand, being at home and still having to be on 8, 9, 10 hours a day, it can get you pretty wound up and ramped up. And it's good to hear that, there is a stone with properties out there that can really help bring you to a place of acceptance and kind of unwind some of that stuff too,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's funny, like the stones I've been choosing to wear, because it's like totally different stones than what I usually put on.
Mm-hmm.
So like I've been wearing a lot of strawberry quartz. I've been wearing a lot of quartz in general. And I keep a lot of like pink opal on, a lot of yellow opal.
Mm-hmm.
They have kind of lower vibrations, but they have very peaceful auras.
Oh,
and
wow.
I feel like going out, you need that level of kind of peace around you.
Yeah, everybody's all twisted up right now.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to ask you something about meditation. I had a question on the tip of my tongue, but anyway, so if people want to, because I don't know if you posted it today on Instagram, but I believe it might have been today, it might have been yesterday, but you had posted a piece of a jewelry piece with a pyrite in it. And my understanding of pyrite, which looks like fool's gold, looks kind of goldish. I've been using that, or I have used it before to manifest some money.
Oh, yeah.
Can you talk to us a little bit more about pyrite? Because everybody wants their coins.
Well, there are a lot of stones for like abundance.
Mm-hmm.
So most times when people come and they're talking about they want abundance, they're looking for probably like aventurine. They're looking for definitely citrine, because citrine is like the merchant stone, and it's supposed to kind of like help you build wealth. And then they also they look for, oh my God, jade. Good Lord, I almost said jade. So,
oh yeah, green for the money, jade.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So basically, like pyrite, because all the stones are from the earth, but it definitely draws a lot of energy through the earth. It's really there to kind of cleanse like the environment around it. So pollutants, it kind of helps you from attacks, either physical or emotional. It's definitely in that second or third chakra. So the first 3 chakras of your body, those are the physical chakras.
Right. Connected most to the earth, right?
Yeah. And pyrite is definitely in like the second and third chakra realm. So
that's that manifesting energy.
Yeah. So it's a protector, but it also creates kind of a defensive shield around those like pollutants and attacks that might come to you.
I used to have a shungite bracelet because I'm around a lot of technology. I'm, at work, I've got the laptop, I got the lights going. I mean, I've got, 2 screens, all kinds of stuff, the phone, a lot of, technology and a lot of that electromagnetic energy around me. And I used to wear shungite. I say used to because it broke. And so my question is, when a piece of jewelry breaks or a crystal drops and breaks or anything like that, does that have any effect on the strength or the vibration or the properties of the stone? Like, can you still salvage those, or do you just like throw it in a box and forget about it?
So a lot of people have like different thoughts on it. A lot of times they say, like, if you've been wearing it a lot and it breaks, it means that it's done working for you.
Oh, okay.
A lot of times if you like kind of lose it immediately upon getting it, it wasn't meant for you. However, I do think that like you really have to have, and not to say mine don't break, but like I think you have, like I've done so much research on like the stringing of it. Like I think that's one of my like pet peeves, is that if a gemstone breaks just because of craftsmanship. So I think, mostly if it does kind of break, and, look at how you're feeling, because a lot of times it is because it's done working for you.
And I also think going back to something that you said, I also think that it's important. I like that you do this, that you consult with people. You have a consult with people and really tap into what it is going on with them and, why they feel like they need a certain particular stone. So that whole idea of you lose it quickly, what it meant for you, I buy into that. I mean, because not every crystal, not every gemstone or healing stone is right for your vibration. That's why a lot of times when you go into these crystal stores like Healing Crystals out in Dulles or Terra Crystal out in Vienna, you got to go in there and kind of stand around and feel the energy. And if something not feeling right, or if something is feeling right, you got to pay attention to that kind of stuff. And you don't necessarily have to, I don't believe you necessarily have to be empathic, but when something feels good and when something doesn't feel good. And so let that lead you when you're selecting your stones. I definitely like to, it's just almost like picking out a pendulum. Like,
oh yes,
go stand in front of that joint and see what happens when if it moves, if it doesn't move. Like, just same thing. Does the energy make you jump? How does the energy feel? If it's too powerful, if it's not enough, or if it's gentle. I like that you do these consults and you just don't entertain just shoppers.
Yeah, and when I do non-holistic events, it's interesting to come across people who have never thought about crystals and, either crystal jewelry other than for fashion. Right. And then when you start talking to them about it, it's amazing that like some stuff they have on already. They never realized like how it was connected with them. So yeah, it's interesting. I feel I was going to say, I lost some friends when I started doing this. When I started talking about the metaphysical properties of the gemstone. Oh yeah.
Right. I don't know. So I'm simply saying really. I ain't surprised. Look, because that's what that stuff is meant to do. That metaphysical properties and crystals, that stuff also is meant to flush out what is not of your highest good and what you don't need and what's not of your benefit. So I ain't surprised.
Right. And a lot of times people don't realize like gemstones are in both the Old Testament and in the New Testament of the Bible. So if you want to like talk about, there's I always have conversations on like, hey, I'm a Christian. Like, I don't know if I should be like, wearing this stuff or understanding it. It's like, yes, I love, like, give me a little baby Jesus and a little Old Testament, a little New Testament. And sprinkle some gemstones in there too. Let me holler at me about Rose Court.
Like, y'all do know stones were in the Bible and existed before there even was a Bible. So that part.
And God even gave, I think it was in the book of, I know a lot of the stones are in Revelations.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But actually, God gave emerald to, I don't know.
Oh, that's right. It's been a long time. But somebody put on like a robe and it had all of these gemstones and crystals in it.
Gemstones of heaven.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so a lot of those are agate, the amethyst, emerald, of course. And there's sapphire is called the holy stone because it is probably, a lot of people think diamond is like the pinnacle of like gemstones. Like, no. Like sometimes there are other stones. Like sapphire is considered a holy stone.
Wow.
Emerald has, awesome properties. And, you just have to know about each one.
So this is what I was going to ask you. So what is your thought on why we're so connected to crystals and why the energy of crystals affects us so much and, has such an effect on us and why it can be used to manage, shift, and change or heal energy? What are your thoughts on why that is? Or what has your research and education told you about it?
I think it's, you grow into it.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be open to kind of understanding, and that a lot of times people put up blocks like, they'll go support, something that's not very, maybe like superficial and be okay with that. But if someone comes to them talking about like the powers of, Rose Quartz, they're like, no, Those, I'm a lover of podcasts, and I love this one podcast called, oh my God, now I can't think of the name, but it basically, and probably I shouldn't put the name out there, but they basically had a podcast and series too, just about the wellness industry. And it really did talk about how the author of the podcast thought there was a lot of sham going on. Like,
oh, really?
Yeah, until at the end, she goes to a Reiki place and actually like really feels the energy. However, like she kind of downplayed crystals, just calling them rocks. And how can you believe in a rock? And, it really did hurt my feelings because in season 1 of the podcast, I loved what the investigative stuff she was doing. And, for me, I feel like you have to kind of grow and understand and be around a lot of gemstones for you to really understand, the power of them. Do your research. It's not just a rock, and if you think about it, the history of gemstones, they've been used in like soldiers, breastplates for protection.
Oh, wow.
A lot of the names for gemstones come from the Greek. And like amethyst means undrunken because they thought that if they took amethyst with them while they drank, they would stay sober. Therefore, you translate it to today's terms,
Yeah, sober up.
Right. And it's like an anti-anxiety, anti-stress reliever.
Now, look, y'all, that don't mean go get a piece of amethyst, tuck it in your bra or your pocket or whatever, and go out here and get hammered.
Right.
That's what that means. Stop playing.
It means undrunken, no. But
please.
Yeah, I think it takes time because like when I first started, it was all about like, I knew gemstones and I knew like which ones I liked and high quality ones. But until you really get into, when I went into like the chakra clearing class and everything, it's just like you really start to feel their vibrations and understand, and then seeing people with them really changed how I saw them. And, and I think nowadays, I like a lot of people now doing a lot of meditation. And, I make a lot of malas and I can't keep them stocked really just because.
You make malas?
I don't do them a whole lot. So when I do them, they usually sell. But it just is one of those things that kind of go hand in hand, like your meditation with like your gemstones. When I was and it goes back to different cultures. When I was in Greece, I kept seeing these like older guys sitting outside of the stores and they had things called worry beads. And it was basically larger than a bracelet, shorter than a necklace. And they would go around and meditate with these worry beads.
Ooh.
And so I was like, okay, how can I change that? So I ended up making like bracelets that are with a large guru bead, which you can pull down and then you can go around and do a short meditation.
Girl.
So I don't have them on the site right now. They will be coming back though.
I bet you they will. I feel it coming. You might want to do a whole line, sis, because I can see it in my head right now. Prayer beads.
Wow.
When you said meditation, I immediately thought of clear quartz. Now I keep a piece of rock. Well, I don't know. It's cut. It's like a point.
Okay.
I keep it on my bedside, and I swear to you, I kid you not, every night I go to bed, I'm dreaming. My dreams are super vivid. So I mean, I don't know if that is attributed to the clear quartz or me having eaten pork or whatever, but I tend to want to gravitate to clear quartz to give me clarity of sight and thought. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, clear quartz is connected with your crown chakra, so that's why your thoughts are coming through like that. And it's a universal healer. So whatever is, I always tell people, if you don't know what stone is really resonating with you, go to like a clear quartz, because that's a master healer. So whatever you need worked on is going to get done. Right. But yeah, quartz is just a master healer. It's been called the universal crystal. So just because it has so many uses, so it kind of enhances, it absorbs, it stores, it amplifies, balances, it transmits, helps you with focus. So
all kind of good stuff.
Yep.
That's awesome, man. Girl, we are out of time, and I wish we had more time because I've got so many other questions about crystals, but unfortunately we gotta go, y'all. We gotta go. So Crystal, I want to thank you so much for being my guest and having this conversation with me today. I absolutely love your jewelry line, and I enjoy your live videos to teach us about crystals and healing. It was a great conversation today, ma'am. Well done.
Thank you.
And I also want to say a thank you to all my listeners for letting me be a part of your day. Thank you for letting me be a part of your journey. You guys keep listening. Tell somebody about the show. Until next time, y'all be safe. For real. Be safe. Get you one of these protective stones to keep you safe if you need one. So there's a lot going on. Mind your business. Mind your family. You guys take care. Bye, y'all.
Thank you again for listening to Soul Healing Conversations. Please join Roz Kincaid again for another program next Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Time and 3 p.m. Eastern Time on the Voice America Variety Channel. We'll talk again next week.